On the wedding day, I was taking my fiancée and friends to a state-run restaurant. On the way, a handsome man holding a baby blocked our path. I thought he was asking for some festive treats, so I was ready to give him some candy and a red envelope. The man looked anxious and said, "Mia, our baby has been fussing. Is something wrong with him?" My fiancée suddenly shoved me away and let the man ride my newly bought bicycle, holding the baby, and hurriedly left. I stood there, stunned. It turned out that she had secretly had a child with another man. I forced a smile and dismissed the guests. At that moment, my fiancée sent me a message via pager. "Samuel, I want to make it up to you. I'll give you my marriage, but my love belongs to Jason Miller. When I see him, my heart only belongs to him, and I can't force myself into this marriage. With you, my heart turned to ashes, and I made a decisive choice to let go." I calmly walked to the public phone booth and dialed the number. "Grandpa, I want to go back and take over the family business." "Grandpa, the wedding with Mia Carter is canceled from today. She and I have nothing to do with each other, and you don't need to offer her any more support." "All right, Grandpa supports you." My grandfather's tone was a mix of joy and worry. "But child, why the sudden change? Did that girl cause you trouble again?" Looking at the guests dispersing in the distance, my eyes couldn't help but tear. "It's nothing, Grandpa. Just feels like it's not right." I ended the call quickly, citing the high phone charges, not giving my grandfather the chance to probe further. I looked down at the album in my hands, which Mia Carter's friend had just given me. The photos in the album were not of Mia Carter and me in our wedding photos, but countless pictures that tore at my heart. Mia Carter didn't like taking photos and always resisted any intimate gestures with me. She often told me that before marriage, any intimacy was just flirting. But this album was full of over 100 intimate photos of Mia Carter with other men. They were holding hands, kissing. Each frame radiated a happiness and sweetness I couldn't bear to face. The photos spanned 5 years, but Mia and I had only known each other for 5 years. While I was out working tirelessly to help her family business thrive, while I stayed up all night for our future, I thought that as long as I worked hard enough, we would eventually be happy together. But she was out there passionately involved with another man. What hurt the most was that while I was struggling to keep the Carter family business afloat and couldn't even find time to eat, she and that man had a child together. No wonder she wouldn't let me come back before. She must have been hiding her pregnancy from me. I sighed and closed the album, went home and started packing. The maid, Julia Reed, looked at me curiously. "Sir, is the wedding feast already over?" "The wedding is canceled. Mia and I have no future together." Julia Reed's face was filled with shock, and before she could speak, a cheerful voice came from the door. Mia Carter returned, draped in a man's coat, holding 2 bags of diapers. The man beside her was holding the baby, and the sweater I had knitted for her was covering the baby in his arms. They looked like a happy family of 3, filled with warmth. I had never seen such a gentle and caring Mia Carter, and my heart ached. I couldn't help but glance at the man next to her. I knew him, Jason Miller. He was Mia Carter's former lover, the childhood friend she grew up with, the man who had gone abroad when Mia had nothing, even struggling to eat. After all this, they were back together. Mia Carter furrowed her brows when she saw me, clearly not expecting my presence. Jason Miller looked up at me, his face full of apology. "Samuel, I'm really sorry. We rushed out this morning to take the baby to the hospital. I came back as soon as I could to apologize. I hope you can forgive me." I tightened my grip on the clothes in my hand. Very thoughtful, coming back to ask for my forgiveness when the baby is sick. Jason Miller's body shuddered slightly, and he looked helplessly at Mia Carter. Mia Carter instantly got angry, her voice sharp. "Samuel Reed, stop being sarcastic. If you're upset, take it out on me. It's my choice, and it has nothing to do with Jason Miller. Do you know how hard it is for him to raise a child by himself? He's a new dad, and he can't handle this kind of talk. I hope you can be less harsh in the future." So, she could actually care about someone like that. The weather outside was cold, but my heart was even colder. She took Jason Miller to the hospital, leaving me, her supposed groom, standing in the cold wind. To wrap things up, I stood in the cold for 2 hours, apologizing, explaining, and sending off friends and family. She didn't even leave me a thin coat, not caring if I was cold, if I could handle it, or if I was upset. "Don't you want to hear what happened after you left?" Mia Carter looked indifferent. "You've been in business for so long, traveling everywhere. You can't even handle this. Do you think you're Mr. Miller, from a big family who can't be bothered with minor issues?" "Mia, tone it down and stop speaking so harshly." Jason Miller tugged at Mia Carter's sleeve and then looked at me apologetically. "You know, Mia doesn't have a bad heart. It's just that when it comes to me and the baby, she gets really anxious, like a completely different person." But unfortunately, Mia Carter had always shown me this arrogant attitude. She had hardly ever cared about me. The only time she showed concern was when I had acute gastroenteritis and couldn't walk. She carried me for 2 miles to find the barefoot doctor in the village. It was at that moment that I fell hopelessly in love with her, like being bewitched, and I stayed by her side every day. I had always hoped that my burning passion could melt her like a stubborn stone. She started a business, and I accompanied her, working even harder than she did. Until now, the Carter family factory had finally developed, making tens of thousands in profit. For the first time, Mia Carter bought me a bouquet of flowers, saying that even if she let everyone down, she would never let me down, and hoped that we could have a future together. At that moment, I was so moved that tears welled up in my eyes, thinking that I had truly waited long enough and would finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. Who could have known that she wasn't a stubborn stone at all? She had always been someone else's tender and caring wife. I sighed deeply, my heart filled with bitterness, unable to understand what I had been holding on to all these years. Jason Miller walked up to me and said, "Samuel, Mia and I already have a baby. Her heart is fully with me. For the sake of my poor child, I hope you can step back. Can you do that? I can't live without her, and our child can't live without a mother." At that moment, I felt like the villain who had intruded on their love. Mia Carter hugged his waist. "You don't need to say more to him. The choice is mine, and I'll handle this." Her gaze at me held some guilt, but mostly indifference. "Samuel Reed, it was my mistake not to think things through before marrying you. I know you love me, which is why I wanted to make it up to you with marriage and give you my love. But as soon as I see Jason Miller, I realize that I can't force myself to be with you." Jason Miller gazed at her lovingly, deeply moved. My sincere feelings shattered completely at that moment. I smiled bitterly. "We've known each other for years. Can't you tell whether you like me or not? After 5 years, you only now feel it's difficult to be with me." She said this when the Carter family business was thriving, but what she didn't know was that the Carter family's success had been due to me using my grandfather's resources to help them. It was also my sleepless nights and constant efforts to expand their channels that allowed her factory to thrive. Without me, I wonder if the Carter family business would have made it this far. I restrained the emotions boiling in my chest. "Then, I won't be the obstacle in your love life. I'll call off the engagement." Mia Carter's expression softened, but her beautiful face was still full of indifference. "This is your choice. Now, please leave my sight as soon as possible. I find your presence annoying." Jason Miller feigned regret and looked at me. "Mia, he's also a pitiful person. Please don't treat him like this." Mia Carter dropped the things in her hands and hugged the baby. "I know this is cruel. He lost his parents, and now he has to be kicked out by me. I feel bad for him, but that's no excuse for his nonsense. We were never on the same page. For all these years, I kept him around because I pitied him. Otherwise, why would he have any right to be with me, let alone reach the point of marriage? It was my pity for him." Mia Carter's words weren't entirely wrong. Before being called back by the Reed family to become a rich young master, I was an orphan raised on the charity of others. I thought that after all these years of feelings, even if it wasn't true love, we were at least friends or family. I didn't expect that in her eyes, I was so worthless. Jason Miller looked at me. "There's a hotel not far from here, run by a friend of mine. How about I arrange for you to stay there for the night? And by the way, in 3 days, Mia and I will be getting married. I hope you can attend. After all, you've given so many years to Mia, and I'd really like to have your blessing." It was a blatant show-off. I smiled. "Congratulations, you finally made it. His blessings don't mean anything. There's no need to invite him so humbly." Even though Jason Miller was pretending, Mia Carter still seemed to feel pity for him. She shot me a look of disdain. "Samuel Reed, do you not know your own place? In our family, you're like a servant. Do you know how rich we are now? Even a $10,000 household can't reach our level. We're not on the same level at all. No matter how much effort you put into me, it's useless." She seemed very afraid that I would keep pestering her. In fact, the moment I received her message via the pager, I had already given up on her. Mia Carter looked at me high and mighty and took money out of her wallet. "We've been together for quite some time. I don't want to be too harsh. Take this $500 as compensation from me. You might never meet a high-level woman like me again. Pack your things and get lost. I hope you don't feel resentful. Don't ever disturb me and Jason Miller's happiness again. We have status. We don't like having anything to do with poor people like you. Don't ever say you're related to the Carter family again. It'll ruin our reputation." Mia Carter threw me and my luggage out without a hint of mercy. The pure white snowflakes in the sky continued to fall on my face, making me painfully clear. I walked to the roadside when a black Santana car slowly stopped in front of me. A beautiful, elegant woman stepped out of the car and quickly walked up to me. When the umbrella she was holding was gently moved away, I saw her face and, with a hoarse voice, said, "Sister." She was the child who had been swapped with me by my parents years ago, the woman who had lived my life for many years. Now, she was the adopted daughter of the Reed family, my sister. The woman compassionately draped a coat over my shoulders, her stunning face showing an extreme coldness. but her voice was soft as she spoke. Don't be sad over us, Meg. Grandpa and I are here for you. My gaze gradually became cold, and I let out a sarcastic laugh. Sister, let's announce the severance of the Reed family's business ties with the Carter family at her wedding. By acting like a lapdog and staying around the general manager of Carter, he can win her heart. Love isn't about finding a nanny. Today, we're celebrating with the general manager of Carter. How can we let someone as shameless as Samuel Reed continue to disgust people? After they finished scolding me, they surrounded Jason Miller and Mia Carter and walked into the restaurant. Watching them being so pompous, I couldn't help but laugh. These classmates called Mia Carter the boss so easily that she really started to believe she was some big shot. But I wanted to see how these opportunists would react once they realized they had flattered the wrong person. When Mia Carter and I first got together, our family often struggled to make ends meet. It was only after I fell deeply in love with her that I used my actions to help her, even seeking my grandfather's influence in the Reed family to support the Carter family's growth. Now that they saw Mia Carter making money, these opportunists started begging her to bring them along. At that time, out of respect for our past as classmates, I almost never turned anyone away. But now, I saw that these people didn't deserve any of that. I returned to Grandpa's house, already forming a meticulous plan in my mind. Just as I entered the house, someone knocked on my room door. It was my sister, Zoe Morgan. Samuel, can I come in? Zoe Morgan had always been so gentle with me. When I opened the door, she was holding a steaming bowl of chicken soup. The moment she saw me, her usually stern face softened into a smile. Drink some chicken soup to warm up. When Grandpa found me, Zoe Morgan's status had dropped significantly. She should have resented me, but in her eyes, there was always nothing but warmth. She was only a few hours older than me, yet she treated me like a real brother. Did you buy all these luxury items in this room? Grandpa was already in his 70s. Even though he spoiled me, he couldn't possibly have bought all these expensive things. Now that my brother is home, as your sister, I have to do something for you. She then handed me a patik. Go buy whatever you like. Don't neglect yourself. Zoe Morgan treated me unbelievably well, and I was both surprised and touched. I really like the things you bought for me, but some of them are too precious. As the young master of the Reed family, what are these things worth? As for what she owes you, I'll make sure she pays you back tenfold, 100-fold. When Zoe Morgan said this, her face lost the previous gentleness, replaced by anger and coldness. Less than a day later, Mia Carter sent me a message on my pager. Samuel Reed, you are truly vicious. I didn't know what had happened, but looking at the message, I knew it couldn't be anything good. A sense of satisfaction spread inside me. General Manager Carter, where have I offended you this time? The message Mia Carter sent me was still filled with rage. You're still pretending. If it weren't for you, why would big bosses like Aaron Collins and Noah Grant suddenly stop buying from me? Mia Carter was referring to two major bosses who usually ordered goods worth thousands from her. You and Jason Miller are out of control. It's normal for them to stop buying from you. I immediately put Mia Carter on the spot. After a while, she angrily replied, Samuel Reed, you're biting the hand that fed you. From now on, the Carter family's business will never be in your hands again. Trying to burn bridges, I snorted. You know, I own 30% of the Carter family business. How much are you going to pay to buy me out? I had been the one running the Carter family's business from the beginning. As for the shares, other people held a portion, but because of my feelings for her, I had split almost 50% of the shares, giving her to. Now, Mia Carter really thought she was some big boss and had forgotten all this. Mia Carter wouldn't listen to my words. Now, aside from me, no one dares to take your 2 shares. I'll give you $5,000. After that, don't ever have anything to do with me again. I had spent years for her and the Carter family, and in the end, she wanted to brush me off with $5,000. Now, I had finally seen her for what she truly was. General Manager Carter, are you trying to bribe a beggar with $5,000? Mia Carter was filled with rage. So, what do you want? Should I get back together with you? Samuel Reed, you probably think that you've given me everything these past few years. Now, let me tell you that so-called love of yours is like a tightening curse, often causing me unbearable pain. I'm telling you now, that's not love at all. You're just trying to satisfy your own selfish desires. Stop trying to tie me down with these things. My connection with the Reed family came from my own ability. I'm about to marry Jason Miller. Do you think it's interesting that you're shamelessly clinging to me? I couldn't help but laugh at Mia Carter's words. The Carter family's business has my share. What do you mean by me clinging to you? If you want to buy my 2 shares, the price is $40,000. You bring the money, and I'll leave right away. Over the years, I had been managing their accounts. I knew exactly how much money there was. The reason I asked for so much wasn't because I wanted Mia Carter to beg me or reconcile. I just wanted to make her suffer, to feel the pain. Otherwise, had all these years been a complete waste? After hearing this, Mia Carter became even more furious. 40,000, don't you look at yourself. Such a pitiful pauper. Even through the phone, I could clearly imagine the anger on her face, as though she wanted to swallow me whole. This was her real face, the one she had hidden all along. I wasn't angry. If I'm a pauper, then what are you? A dog that can't be trained. After that, I didn't continue the conversation and simply hung up the phone. Speaking more to such a person was a waste of phone credit. Moreover, she now had to take care of her child, so she wouldn't have time to find me. Even if she did want to, she might not be able to find me. For the past half-month, Zoe Morgan had been with me. She had helped me take over the Reed family business, and the two of us worked together to handle various matters. She took me to other places to negotiate deals and to enjoy the scenery. She also gave me all kinds of gifts that pleasantly surprised me. In these past few weeks, the closeness between the Reed family's adopted son and the Reed family's young lady had become a hot topic in the city. Many people tried to see my true face but failed. I was living happily, and Mia Carter's affairs seemed to slowly fade from my memory. Soon, it was the day of their wedding. Mia Carter truly loved Jason Miller to the core. The wedding was held at one of the few luxury hotels in the city, and they had even spent a fortune to book the entire hotel. They invited many of the city's top bosses, classmates, and friends. I also received an invitation, but I threw it straight into the trash. On the day of their wedding, I still went. As soon as I reached the entrance, a tall figure blocked my path. The person who stopped me was Owen Parker, Mia Carter's childhood friend, who was now working as a lackey for her. He had been doing fairly well. Owen Parker looked at me with disdain. "Samuel Reed, today is Mia's big day. What are you doing here causing trouble? Why are you even dressed like this? We all know what you're really worth. Aren't you afraid of being laughed at?" After mocking me, he immediately stretched out his hand to push me out. "Go away. This is no place for you." I snorted and frowned, looking at him. "Owen Parker, do you want me to remind you how you got to where you are today?" His movement stopped for a moment. I knew he remembered. I didn't intentionally bring up his past failures. What surprised me was that Mia Carter quickly noticed and stormed over. Her face was icy cold. "Samuel Reed, I don't want to get physical with you today." Whether she liked it or not, sometimes it was clear in a glance. On the day of our wedding, she had deliberately ignored me, leaving me in the cold wind to deal with the guests. On the day of her wedding to Jason Miller, even my mere presence became a crime. I looked at her coldly. "Mia Carter, if I leave here today, you'll definitely regret it." Now, I wasn't here as the former fiancé causing trouble. After hearing that, Mia Carter laughed until her body was bent over. "You're joking, right? I'll regret not kicking you out. You guys get him out of here." As soon as Mia Carter finished speaking, her lackeys surrounded me. I stood there, and just as they were about to act, a deep voice echoed, "Try touching him." The voice grew closer. I turned around and saw Zoe Morgan walking toward me with Grandpa. Zoe Morgan was wearing a fitted Chong Sam today with a black pair of sunglasses and the latest voluminous curls. She looked absolutely stunning through her sunglasses. I could faintly see the coldness in her eyes. Mia Carter immediately lost her earlier arrogance. "Boss Morgan, old Mr. Reed, welcome, please come inside." Mia Carter was full of flattery, not daring to be rude in the slightest. Zoe Morgan and Grandpa didn't even glance at her the entire time. Grandpa, with a pained expression, grabbed my hand. "Samuel, have you forgotten what I told you? When you're outside, you need to carry yourself with the strength of the Reed family. Don't always be so easy to deal with." I didn't just see wrong, did I? Did Carter really intend to lay hands on my little brother? Zoe Morgan's voice was also cold as she uttered those words. She looked at Mia Carter with a frosty gaze. Mia Carter, looking lost, glanced at me. Then, at Zoe Morgan and Grandpa. After confirming her fears, she trembled and knelt down in front of Zoe Morgan with a thud. "Boss Morgan, it's a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. I didn't know that Samuel Reed is your brother." Mia Carter truly didn't know this, and I was sure of it. Over the years I had been with her, I had kept this hidden very well and never mentioned it. When I was abandoned in the village, eating at various houses, I faced countless cold stares. When Grandpa found me and brought me back, I thought it was a dream. There was also the fact that the Reed family had an illustrious member, Zoe Morgan. It made me feel like I couldn't face it. Not long after, I found myself deeply infatuated with Mia Carter. To be with Mia Carter, I chose to leave the Reed family. Once I had left the Reed family, I knew I couldn't continue growing under their protection. It was only when I helped Mia Carter grow her business that I lowered my pride and went to ask Grandpa for help. At that time, Grandpa kept reminding me not to let love blind me and to take the time to see through her. Unfortunately, I didn't listen to Grandpa's advice back then. Luckily, it wasn't too late. Grandpa coldly snorted after glancing at Mia Carter. "People like you, with the heart of a wolf and the guts of a dog, don't deserve the help of the Reed family. Zoe, from now on, cut off all ties with Mia Carter and inform everyone in Hisher that they are not allowed to do business with her. If they do, they are going against the Reed family. Mia Carter's face instantly turned pale, and she knelt in front of me like a dog begging for mercy. Samuel, please look at our past relationship and say a few words to Grandpa for me. Her biggest support was the Reed family. If the Reed family cut ties with her, she would be in a very tough spot in Hisher. The most crucial thing was that Grandpa was taking action against her in the name of the Reed family. With that, she would never survive in Hisher again. I looked at her with a smile. You weren't in this posture earlier. I remember I had warned you a long time ago. A woman with the heart of a wolf and the guts of a dog wasn't worth my attachment. She had trampled on me time and again, so now I would take back everything I had given her. Mia Carter tried to struggle one last time, but I didn't give her any chance. Less than half an hour later, nightmarish news kept flooding Mia Carter's ears. She had lost everything. The bosses who had once worked with her now avoided her like the plague. Mia Carter had thought she was on top of the world, having attached herself to the Reed family's powerful branch. What she didn't know was that life under a big tree wasn't all sunshine. The classmates who had once supported her, upon learning that Mia Carter was now hopeless, cornered her. Mia Carter, I don't want anything to do with your broken business. Now, I want my money back. Same here, I'll give you 3 days at most. If you can't pay up within the deadline, you'll have to sell your house and land and beg on the streets. Mia Carter, who had once thought she could become a dragon among men, had now reached the beginning of her nightmare. Watching these messages, I couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. What surprised me was that Zoe Morgan walked up to me. This is just part of it. There's much more. Then Zoe Morgan tossed a file in front of Mia Carter. Mia Carter trembled as she opened the file and read through it. Her face turned a deathly pale, and her body shook uncontrollably. How could this happen? She was almost trembling in panic. Then, she completely lost her composure and ran out desperately. She rushed to Jason Miller, who was holding their child. Upon seeing Mia Carter, Jason Miller's face was full of disdain. Mia Carter, don't look at me like that. I'll be honest with you. I won't endure hardship with you like Samuel Reed did. So, all along, you've only loved my money. Was everything just a scam? Mia Carter's face twisted into an ugly grimace. What's the point of talking about it now? Jason Miller's face showed a hint of panic. Then, he did something shocking. He violently slammed his own biological son to the ground. The child, still wrapped in swaddling clothes, died on the spot. In that instant, Mia Carter finally broke down completely. She lunged at Jason Miller like a wild beast. Jason Miller, I'll kill you. What was supposed to be a joyous wedding turned into a bloody crime scene as both Mia Carter and Jason Miller, losing all control, began fighting furiously, stabbing each other with knives. But I didn't want them to end everything just like that. I wanted Mia Carter's remaining years to be filled with regret and pain. I had her sent to the best hospital in the city. After several hours of emergency treatment, the doctors managed to pull Mia Carter back from the brink of death. However, their innocent child couldn't be saved. Mia Carter, because of her intentional murder, was sent to prison as soon as she recovered a little, with a 1-year suspended sentence followed by the death penalty. During the time she awaited her death, I didn't let her have it easy. Every day she had new injuries on her body. Her family also had to pay for her mistakes. Those classmates who once flattered her also saw their fortunes decline, unable to retrieve their money, even in an era where gold seemed to be everywhere. When I had some free time, I went to visit Mia Carter in prison. At this point, she looked like a child who had done something wrong. Samuel, it's all my fault. Please let me go. Okay. Her eyes were filled with despair. For these past years, Mia Carter had simply taken whatever she wanted. If it weren't for my identity as the young master of the Reed family, with the support of Grandpa and Zoe Morgan, she would have found a way to get rid of me the moment she couldn't buy the cheap stocks I held. When Mia Carter lost her rationality, she even killed the man she loved the most. How could I, someone she never loved, be any different? I looked at her indifferently. I won't let you die, so I will keep an eye on your situation, but I won't visit you again. In the future, I needed to familiarize myself with my role as the heir of the Reed family. I would continue to increase my knowledge and become the qualified successor of the Reed family. I began to study, learning various financial and business skills, gradually becoming more and more capable. I thoroughly enjoyed these days of hard work and self-improvement. What surprised me was that besides Grandpa, Zoe Morgan also decided to give me the shares she held and was even willing to assist me as my helper. Samuel, from now on, I'll be assisting you. Her voice was full of tenderness, and the others tactfully left the room. Only Zoe Morgan and I remained together. I looked up and met her soft, affectionate gaze, feeling deeply moved. In the years I had been away, she had taken care of everything for the family. This had cost her some of the best years of her life. Now, she was going to assist me in taking over the Reed family. Zoe Morgan never said the word love, but it seemed like everything she did for me radiated love. Yet, I had become completely afraid of it. I politely declined her offer. You should continue managing the Reed family. I want to go abroad and study more. Now that the world was opening up, there were endless opportunities. But if I stayed stagnant, I would eventually be left behind. During my time studying abroad, I could also explore the outside world. To my surprise, Mia Carter managed to escape from prison. Just as I was about to leave, she came to me holding flowers, her tone full of flattery. Samuel, can you give me another chance to be by your side? Even if you treat me like an animal, I'm willing to do it. Can you consider it? She kept awkwardly smiling, her posture so low it was beneath the dust. I looked at her with curiosity. Can you show me your sincerity? Mia Carter, already on death row, had escaped during her suspended sentence, which had sealed her fate. But I didn't want her to die just yet. I wanted to play with her a little longer. Mia Carter obediently knelt at my feet, her tongue hanging out, barking at me like a dog. At this moment, she truly resembled a dog. But my gaze was full of indifference. At this point, Mia Carter was no different from how I had been when I first met her, foolish and laughable. When Mia Carter saw I had no reaction, a trace of viciousness flashed in her eyes, and she tried to take us both down with her. But she forgot Zoe Morgan was standing by my side. Zoe Morgan had studied martial arts, and after subduing her, she was about to hand her over to the authorities. But I stopped her again. Her mental state seems unstable. Send her to a psychiatric hospital. Let her live a life more painful than death. Zoe Morgan, after hearing my words, took her to a psychiatric hospital. At first, Mia Carter kept trying to explain to the doctors that she wasn't crazy, but after staying there for a while, she truly began to lose her sanity. She was like a living corpse, constantly murmuring, "My money will never run out. You all must call me Boss Carter." As for me, I followed through with my original plan, and started to study abroad. To my surprise, just as the plane was about to take off, Zoe Morgan quickly walked up to me and sat down next to me. She looked at me with gentle eyes, a smug smile on her face. "Grandpa gave me a strict order to stay with you and take care of you." Really, whether it was Grandpa's wish or hers, it didn't matter because by that time, the plane was already taking off and I couldn't exactly kick her out. Looking at her beautiful fair face, a genuine smile appeared on my face.